Hi, I'm Jeanette Calli, and I serve as the NRMP Chief of Match Operations. The 2023 main residency match was once again the largest on record, both in the number of positions and in the number of active applicants participating in the match. Let's dive a little deeper and spend some time reviewing the results of the main residency match and the Supplemental Offer and Acceptance Program, or SOAP. This year, there were a total of 40,375 positions offered by 6,270 programs. The number of positions was up this year by 1,170, which is an increase of 3% over 2022. This is similar to the growth we saw last year, which was also almost 3%. So we are seeing decent growth in the number of positions in the match each year, which is good news for applicants. When the algorithm was processed, 37,690 positions were filled, leaving 2,685 positions unfilled. For comparison, last year there were 2,262 unfilled positions. So while there were 18.7 more positions left unfilled in 2023, there were also over 1,100 more positions in the match. When we look at the applicant population, we look at them in two ways: registered and active. Registered applicants are the whole of the population of applicants who register to participate. And this year we saw about a 1% increase over 2022, with 48,156 registered applicants in the match. Of the registered applicants, it was surprising to see fewer total USMD seniors over last year. MD seniors are current fourth-year students in a U.S. allopathic medical school. The number of registered MD seniors in 2023 was 20,317. That's down 236 MD seniors from last year. This is despite the continued rise in the number of matriculating USMD seniors each year, as reported by the Association of American Medical Colleges. The largest gains in registered applicants this year was among non-U.S. citizen international medical graduates, or IMGs, with an increase of 707, as well as osteopathic seniors with an increase of 152. The second way we break out data about applicants is by looking at the active applicants in the match. Active applicants are applicants who certified a rank order list of programs, and so were included in the running of the algorithm. In 2023, there were 42,952 active applicants, an increase of 403 applicants over last year. And how did the applicants do? We matched 34,822 applicants to postgraduate year or PGY1 positions, which is an increase of 747 more PGY1 matched applicants than in 2022, an increase of about 2.2%. The percentage of all active applicants matched to PGY1 positions increased this year as well, from 80.1% in 2022 to 81.1% this year. Looking closer at the applicants and some trend data, this chart shows the number of active applicants in the match over the last 10 years, categorized by applicant type. There are over 8,600 more active applicants in the match since 2014. USMD seniors are consistently the largest applicant group. In 2023, there were 19,748 USMD seniors, which was again lower by 154 versus last year. The next largest group of active applicants are non-US IMGs. A non-US IMG is a non-US citizen who attended an international medical school. There were 8,469 non-US IMGs, followed by 7,436 DO seniors. Those are fourth-year students in a US osteopathic medical school. And then 4,963 US IMGs, who are US citizens who attended an international medical school. Last, there were 2,315 prior MD and DO grads combined. The prior MD and DO grads are applicants who have completed medical school training in their respective school types before entering the match. The red line is the number of PGY1 positions over time. You can see how this number of positions compares to the number of active applicants in the match. There were 5,527 more active applicants than PGY1 positions available in the match this year. In looking at the growth of PGY1 positions over the last 5 years, in 2019 there were 32,194 PGY1 positions, compared to 37,425 in 2023, an increase of 5,231 positions, or a 16% increase over the last 5 years. In 2020, the transition to a single match as a result of the single accreditation process was completed. In just the 3 years since single accreditation was complete, positions in the match have increased by more than 9.2%. So the most recent growth in the match continues well beyond the single accreditation process. This chart shows the number of matches to PGY1 positions by applicant type, again since 2014. You can see that in this year's match, 18,498 of the 19,748 active MD seniors matched to PGY1 positions, which is consistent with prior years. Over time, we see that it's the PGY1 matches for DO seniors that have seen the most growth, and that's to be expected with the implementation of single accreditation. In 2023, 6,812 of the 7,436 DO seniors matched, which is a record high number of matches for DO seniors. 3,356 of the 4,963 U.S. citizen IMGs and 5,032 of the 8,469 non-U.S. citizen IMGs matched to PGY1 positions. And 1,050 of the 2,315 prior MD and DO grads matched. There were 8,130 unmatched active applicants overall. This year, PGY1 match rates increased across the board for almost all applicant types, except prior USMD and DO graduates. You can see the PGY1 match rates graphed here by applicant type since 2010. As always, USMD seniors did extremely well in the match. 93.7% of USMD seniors matched to PGY1 positions, a slight increase over last year and within the historical 92 to 95% rate, which has been consistent for almost 40 years. Other applicant types also fared well in this year's match. 91.6% of US DO seniors matched, a slight increase from 91.3% last year. 67.6% of US IMGs matched, an increase of 6.2 percentage points over last year, and 59.4% of non-US IMGs matched, up 1.3 percentage points from 2022. Prior MD and DO grads both saw a downturn in their match rates, with 48% of prior MD grads matching, a decrease of 2.5 percentage points, and 47.9% of DO grads matched, a decrease from 53.6% the year prior. The overall PGY1 match rate was 81.1% in 2023. Let's zoom in a little on just the USMD and DO seniors. It can be helpful to compare the number of active and matched MD and DO seniors to the number of PGY1 positions, which is the top line in black. In 2023, there were a total of 27,184 active US seniors when you combine both DOs and MDs. Those seniors were competing for the 37,425 PGY1 positions in the match. When you compare the number of PGY1 positions to the number of US MD and DO seniors, there were 10,241 more PGY1 positions than US seniors combined. Switching gears from the applicants to the positions, this year 37,690 matches were made to both PGY1 and PGY2 positions, which was also an all-time high and an increase of 747 or 2% over 2022. And in what specialties were most of those positions? This slide shows the number of positions offered and filled for specialties with more than 500 positions in the match, as well as showing the numbers of MD and DO seniors that filled those positions. Just to hit some of the highlights, primary care specialties offered record high numbers of positions. Of the 18,312 primary care positions offered overall, that's internal medicine, family medicine, and pediatrics categorical positions, 17,259 or 94.2% were filled. However, only 6,979 or 38.1% of those positions were filled by USMD seniors. Though the internal medicine categorical numbers have fluctuated, 10,178 positions in 2023 is the highest number on record. The fill rate for the specialty was 96.2%, up slightly from last year, and MD seniors filled 37.7%, slightly up, while DO seniors filled 17%, slightly down. All IMGs combined filled 4,007 of the categorical internal medicine positions in the match, or 39.4%. Family medicine has experienced position increases every year since 2009. This year, family medicine offered 5,088 positions and filled 4,511, or 88.6%, slightly down from last year. MD seniors filled only 29.2% of positions. However, a record number 1,511 DO seniors matched, accounting for 29.7% of applicants who matched in the specialty. IMGs filled 1,355 family medicine positions, or 26.6%. Pediatrics has gained positions every year since 2005 and offered a record high 3,046 positions this year. The overall fill rate was 97.1%, with 54.4% being filled by MD seniors, 20.2% by DO seniors, and 21.6% by IMGs. There were a couple of other specialty trends to note. Emergency medicine has gained positions every year since 1983 when the specialty joined the match, and this year offered 3,010 positions. The total position fill rate was 82%. That's down 10.5% from last year. And only 42.3% were filled by MD seniors. That's the lowest percentage ever. DO seniors filled 24.3%, and IMGs filled 11.6%. The number of unfilled positions in EM is driven in part by the decreased number of ranks submitted by US MD and DO seniors for emergency medicine, and could reflect changing applicant interests or projections about workforce opportunities post-residency. Emergency medicine has grown considerably over time, having added 732 positions since 2018, which is an increase of 32.1%. Another specialty that has seen significant growth is psychiatry. The number of psychiatry positions has grown every year since 2008, and the 2,164 positions offered this year was the highest on record. They clocked in this year with a 99% fill rate, which is a 0.2 percentage point decline over last year. The results of the match can indicate the competitiveness of specialties as measured by the percentage of positions filled by the different applicant types. The specialties with 30 positions or more that filled with the highest percentage of US MD and DO seniors were plastic surgery, 92.3%, internal medicine pediatrics, 90.5%, obstetrics and gynecology, 90.1%, and orthopedic surgery, 90%. The specialties with 30 positions or more that filled with the highest percentage of U.S. citizen IMGs and non-U.S. citizen IMGs were internal medicine, 41.3%, pathology, anatomic and clinical, 40.9%, internal medicine primary, 33.3%, and family medicine, 30%. And among the most competitive specialties overall, the specialties with 30 positions or more that filled all their available positions in the match were orthopedic surgery, plastic surgery, diagnostic radiology, and thoracic surgery. The match rates broken down by specialty can help us see how successful each applicant type is in matching to their preferred specialty. Here is the match rate for USMD seniors by their preferred specialty in 2022 compared to this year for the 15 most preferred specialties. Preferred specialty is expressed as the specialty of the program ranked first on the applicant's rank order list. As you can see, most MD seniors do match to their first choice specialty, with match rates above 90% for MD seniors in psychiatry, combined internal medicine pediatrics, neurology, internal medicine, pediatrics, family medicine, and emergency medicine. Of note this year are the decrease in the match rate to anesthesiology and the increases for both orthopedic surgery and otolaryngology. Here is the same data for USDO seniors this year compared to 2022. Specialties with match rates above 90% for DO seniors were internal medicine, pediatrics, family medicine, and emergency medicine. Of note this year are the increases in obstetrics and gynecology and physical medicine and rehabilitation, and decreases in radiology, psychiatry, neurology, and pathology since 2022. Match rates for U.S. citizen IMGs are highest in internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, and emergency medicine. Of note are the increases in psychiatry, combined internal medicine pediatrics, and emergency medicine, and decreases in dermatology and radiology since last year. And here is the data for non-U.S. IMGs. Match rates for non-U.S. IMGs are highest in internal medicine, child neurology, emergency medicine, and pediatrics. Of note are the increases in internal medicine pediatrics, family medicine, and pediatrics, and decreases in pathology, child neurology, and emergency medicine. Now that we've looked at the filled positions and the applicants who filled them, let's review the unfilled positions. This slide shows the numbers and types of unfilled positions for the last 10 years. After the algorithm was processed, 2,685 of the 40,375 total positions were unfilled. That is 423 more positions unfilled than last year. But remember, there were 1,170 more positions overall in the match this year, with only 403 more active applicants. In looking at the types of positions that remained unfilled, 915, or 34%, were preliminary PGY1 positions. Those are positions usually in internal medicine, surgery, or transitional year programs that only provide 1 year of preliminary training. This is a slight decrease since last year, when 39.4% of the unfilled positions were preliminary positions. Much of the increase in unfilled categorical positions was due to unfilled positions in emergency medicine. As shown on the previous slide, there were 2,685 positions unfilled after the algorithm was processed. However, the universe of SOAP positions is a little different than in the algorithm. Programs do have the option of whether to participate in SOAP if they go unfilled, and some choose not to. In addition, there were some positions in programs that did not submit a rank order list that requested to be included in SOAP. So that left a total of 2,658 PGY1 and PGY2 positions included in the SOAP process. Of those, 2,588 were PGY1 positions. This slide compares the numbers of unmatched active seniors to the PGY1 positions in SOAP for the past 10 years. There were 1,250 USMD seniors and 624 DO seniors who submitted rank order lists, who were unmatched to PGY1 positions. Let's broaden things to look at all SOAP-eligible applicants. The universe of SOAP-eligible applicants is also slightly different from that of unmatched active applicants. An applicant is eligible for SOAP if the applicant is registered for the match, verified as eligible to participate, and unmatched or partially matched when the algorithm is processed. A partially matched applicant is one who matched to only a PGY1 preliminary program or to only an advanced PGY2 position. Applicants who do not submit a rank order list are eligible to participate in SOAP if they are registered and verified as eligible. So vying for the 2,658 total SOAP positions were 12,365 eligible applicants. That is 471 fewer than last year, and with 396 more available positions. You can see here the breakdown of the SOAP-eligible applicants by type. The largest group of SOAP-eligible applicants was non-US IMGs, with 5,344, followed by 2,775 US IMGs, 2,062 US MD seniors, 939 prior MD grads, 855 DO seniors, 385 prior DO grads, and 5 others who were Canadian and fifth pathway applicants. The preferences of the unmatched MD seniors can be seen here. Unmatched MD seniors were looking for very competitive specialties, including orthopedic surgery, anesthesiology, obstetrics and gynecology, general surgery, and psychiatry. Now we'll compare these preferences to the number of available positions in SOAP. Just to give you some of the numbers, since it's hard to see, the preferences of unmatched US seniors was strongest for orthopedic surgery, 205 preferred for 0 positions in SOAP. Anesthesiology, 157 preferred for only 5 positions. Obstetrics and gynecology, 130 preferred for 4 positions. General surgery categorical, 129 preferred for only 3 positions. And psychiatry, 124 preferred and 21 positions. Family medicine, pediatrics, emergency medicine, and internal medicine are among the specialties where there were more unfilled positions than USMD seniors who preferred the specialty. Same available SOAP positions, but now showing the preferences of unmatched DO seniors. DO seniors also had a strong preference for obstetrics and gynecology, surgery, and orthopedic surgery. And again, we'll put up the number of available positions in SOAP. And here are the specialty preferences of all the unmatched applicants, adding in the IMG and prior graduate groups. Most unmatched applicants preferred internal medicine, family medicine, psychiatry, and general surgery when you include the preferences of IMGs and prior grads. The added bars again show the number of available positions in SOAP by specialty. Other specialties with large numbers of positions in SOAP were family medicine, 581, surgery, 561, emergency medicine, 545, internal medicine, 378, and pediatrics, 81. There were 4 SOAP offer rounds again this year. This slide shows the number of positions offered and accepted by round. As you can see, 1,360 of the 2,658 SOAP positions, or 51% of the positions, were accepted in the first offer round. The yellow indicates the number of positions that were rejected in each round. Keep in mind that applicants can receive more than one offer in a round, and once they accept a position, all offers of the same type are automatically rejected. There were 636 offers accepted in the second round, so 75% of positions were filled by the second round. 334 offers were accepted in the third, and 101 in the fourth, leaving 227 SOAP positions remaining unfilled at the conclusion of the final round. By the conclusion of SOAP, 91% of the available SOAP positions had been filled. The match and SOAP processes combined give us an overall position fill rate for 2023 of 99.1%. Here is the breakdown of the positions accepted by applicant and position type in SOAP. The numbers above in blue indicate the number of SOAP-eligible applicants for each applicant type. As you can see, the bulk of the positions were accepted by MD seniors. MD seniors accepted 38%, or 927, of the 2,431 positions filled during SOAP. USDO seniors accepted 22%, or 544 positions. International medical graduates as a group accepted 28%, or 682, of the 2,431 positions filled, up from 22% over last year. This slide shows the number of SOAP-eligible USMD seniors, how many unique MD senior applicants received SOAP offers, and how many offers were accepted for the past 5 years. In 2023, there were 2,062 SOAP-eligible MD seniors. This SOAP-eligible category does include MD seniors who were partially matched to either a PGY1 preliminary position or an advanced PGY2 position. 974 unique MD seniors received offers during SOAP, and 927 of them accepted SOAP offers. The last columns on the right, labeled No Position Post-SOAP, shows the number of SOAP-eligible MD seniors who did not have any position at the conclusion of match week for the past 5 years. In 2023, there were 438 SOAP-eligible MD seniors left without a position in either the match or SOAP at the end of match week, a decrease of 260 since 2022. Here's the same data, but for SOAP-eligible DO seniors. In 2023, there were 855 SOAP-eligible DO seniors. 581 unique DO seniors received offers during SOAP, and 544 SOAP offers were accepted. There were 140 SOAP-eligible DO seniors who did not obtain a position in either the match or SOAP at the conclusion of match week, a decrease of 60 since last year. And what's left at the conclusion of SOAP? There were 133 SOAP participating programs with 227 positions unfilled at the conclusion of SOAP. This shows the number of positions in SOAP by specialty, and this is the number of positions remaining in those specialties after SOAP concluded. As you can see, the bulk of positions remaining after SOAP concludes are in surgery programs, primarily PGY1 surgery positions, family medicine, internal medicine, transitional year, and emergency medicine. And that wraps up our recap of the 2023 main residency match. The match is an important transition in an aspiring physician's journey from undergraduate to graduate medical education, and 2023 proved again to be quite successful, with high position fill rates and applicant match rate increases among nearly all applicant types. There will be even more detailed data available with the release of the 2023 main residency match results and data book. Look for it coming soon on the NRMP website at www.nrmp.org. Thanks for joining me.